Brennan is from ABTA, the Association of Travel Agents and Tour Operators. So the regime of quarantine hotels starts today. Do you have any idea how long it will be in place for?
Well, the government has been quite clear that they expect this to just be some temporary measures, and they're hoping to keep it to as short a period as possible. Obviously, these restrictions come in on top of a whole host of other restrictions and measures that are in at the moment. So, the government, even before lockdown, was advising against travel to most destinations. Very clear message at the moment is that you shouldn't be travelling, and there's a whole host of testing that you need to do both before you depart and once you arrive back in the UK. So there's a string of measures really the government has in place to try and protect and prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
Sure. So what's your best guess then of how long temporary might mean?
It's very difficult to say. The government hasn't given any indication. They've said as short a period as possible, and we would certainly support that. We know it's really important that they have measures in place to prevent the spread of coronavirus and the introduction of new variants, but certainly this sort of system couldn't be in place when more people start to travel. And so what we're saying to the government is that they do need to use the update from the Prime Minister next week to set out a roadmap for future travel, recognising that actually there isn't really going to be a situation of returning to travel that is entirely risk-free, but things like having proof of vaccination, having the option to do that, but also having a really robust testing regime that's cost-effective should should open up the travel industry going forward.
Well, so by a roadmap, do you mean, from June the 5th, you will be able to fly to wherever, or from the end of July, we'll have vaccine passports and then you'll be able to book it? What do you mean in practical terms?
We're certainly not putting any dates on this at the moment, and I think what
So what's the point of a roadmap then?
But we need some principles of how we can travel going forward, and I think that's what we're missing from the government at the moment. There's still a lot that we don't know from the medicine and the science side of things, and I think what we're still waiting to hear from the government and from the scientists of how the vaccine works against new variants and how it works in terms of the transmission of the virus from person to person. And so once it's understanding that, then that's how we can have some principles going forward for travel. But at the moment, we haven't really got any indication of what that might be. We're in a situation where there's a lot of restrictions in place and people aren't able to travel, and we need to know how things could open up going forward.
Well, in the meantime, what is the impact on your members?
It's a really difficult time for our members. If you look at this week itself, it's February half term. It would be the busiest week for ski holidays, but not a single person has been able to take a ski trip this season, and it doesn't look like they'll be doing that any time soon. And so the businesses are sort of running on empty at the moment. We've lost up to 160,000 jobs already. Unfortunately, many companies haven't made it through the pandemic so far.
Thank you for talking to us, Emma Brennan. Thank you.